An interesting thing that I was thinking about is a lot of people are afraid to look silly, or they're afraid to do something because they don't know what other people are going to say and what they are. They just really think that that they're going to be a failure at something, so they don't even try with it. And I got to tell you that you're always going to look silly no matter what you do. And you need to have sort of a realistic perspective in mind that it really takes a lot of work to do anything. There is a tremendous amount of work involved no matter what you actually do. And you need to really start not worrying about what everybody else is saying and what everybody else is thinking of you, because that's ultimately, you're not gonna get there in one quick little swoop. It unfortunately does not work like that, and you just have to get to the moment where, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm probably gonna look silly, but that is okay, and I have to be okay with those particular things. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massac. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out as much as I possibly can. So there is a fair bit of research across the board in entrepreneurship and innovation that pretty much will suggest the emotions that you're going to feel. I think pretty much everybody feels this, that you're going to feel silly, you're going to feel like a failure, and you simply have to do whatever the thing that you're working on. So, you might be trying to become a doctor, for example, and you're afraid to apply to the program because you think that you'll never get in, you don't have the right skills, you don't have all of this kind of stuff. And you're afraid of applying once because you're going to look silly if you get a rejection because you had your hopes up with all that kind of stuff. This is really normal to feel like this, but you have to realize that it's probably not going to take one time. The chances are is you are going to get rejected at the first time that you actually apply, the first time you get through to something. And you're going to go through those feelings of being crushed and feeling silly and all that kind of stuff. And that's just the natural process of what this is going to be. And once you get, what you need to do is just continue to do that, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And each time you're sort of refining on what you're doing. It's likely that you will, some of you will give up. But you have to remember, it is absolutely unusual to apply 4, 5, 6, 10 times. And eventually it becomes like a point, if you are actually improving and getting better with each one of those applications that you throw in, that eventually they do give you a chance, because that is showing something in of itself, that you are trying to get in, you're actually trying to do the work. Now, there is a minimum standard that they're looking for. However, as you're applying to these things and as you're going through it, you're going to, you're going to sort of get there. And this whole process, right? So the whole thing, you're going to feel silly. You're going to feel whatever you're working on, right? If, whatever you're doing, it's going to feel rinky-dinky. It's going to feel silly. You're going to feel like everybody's watching, and they probably are, right? And they're probably all judging you. I almost guarantee it that they're all judging you with the thing that you're doing, but you simply just have to be like, okay, I'm going to do this anyways. I know I'm being judged, and I know that I feel silly, and I know I've got all of these insecurities, but I'm just going to do it. And I've got to push all that stuff away and just do it anyways. It's like if you apply to, become an astronaut, or you apply to, try to get into the Olympics. it's the act of trying and failing and getting up and failing and getting up that actually gets you to where you need to go. Now, there is a moment where you do, you do need to call it quits, right? But that is far into the process of trying and giving up and trying and giving up. When is that moment? It's far into the process, right? So if it is a multi-year process, I mean, you give up after 10 years, maybe something like that, like a significant, very much a significant try, right? And you're getting those signals that it's not going to work out. But here's the thing, right? Like, you don't have to be the best in something all the time. You're never going to be the best. There's never going to be a moment where it's the rare individual. It is so unbelievably rare, right? Like, you could be absolutely world class and you're still, you get silver medals and you're number 2, and then you're looking at number 1, you're like, I'm not the best. But you realize, like, you're number 2, right? Like, you're so far above everybody else, and you have to reclassify and reframe what you're thinking about. Like, you don't have to be the best often. You just have to sort of think about what you're doing. So you try and try and try and try and try, and then you have to rethink about where you stand and what you're doing. And so let's say you don't get into med school. Well, you tried, but you learned an awful lot along the way in terms of what you actually like and what you're about, and you were framed, sort of reclassified what you're doing, and you can sort of discover what you're actually about. And I think that's an important thing for all of us to think about. So don't ever be afraid of looking silly or any of that kind of stuff. Just do it anyways and see what happens. There's nothing to lose from that other than you just feeling a little bit of judgment from other people. But who cares? They are not going to be there when you're ready to die anyways at that moment. So just go and look silly and, be yourself. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.